So the next episode that I did was the Halloween episode. And I was really excited because I like Halloween. There's a ghost tour, and I knew I wanted to take it. I realized my interest in history when I took this ghost tour in Harper's Ferry, West Virginia. I learned more about the history of Harper's Ferry from that ghost tour than I did from all of walking around that place all day.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, it really, I got excited and decided that if I was going to do a Halloween episode, I really wanted to take the Fells Point Ghost Tour. So here's a re-edited version of that episode. It's a little bit shorter and really kind of shifts the focus of it. So here's the Ghost Tour episode. Welcome to the second episode of History at Risk. It's the Halloween season, and I'm going to take the authentic Fells Point Ghost Walk. Then, I'm going to ask if ghost walks are a good portal into history. See you then. We're at the Fells Point Visitor Center, and we're about to take a ghost tour. Let's go on inside. Hi.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing fabulous.
Excellent. Would you be able to introduce yourself?
My professional name is April Inlows Smith, but for this ghost tour, I go by Bridget McGowan.
And why a ghost tour?
I think a ghost tour appeals to people because it's in touch with the past, but it's a fun way to get in touch with the past. They can learn something at the same time, be a little scared, and it's our tour, of course, is very family oriented. We don't scare you too much, but it's quite popular.
Excellent. Now, paranormal interest is on the rise. There's lots of TV shows. It seems like books and all that. There's just exploding. Have you noticed that with the ghost tours?
Yes, I think actually many people are much more interested in their past now, probably because of an uncertain future. And they're discovering that the past can be entertaining, particularly in a ghost tour.
One last question.
Okay.
Have you seen a ghost?
I haven't seen one, but I've heard one.
Interesting. All right, maybe we'll see one tonight.
Welcome to the authentic Fells Point Ghost Walk. Since it's rather a chilly night, we're very fortunate that there aren't nearly as many live people. I try to avoid them as much as possible. So we're going to venture forth down here and go into a sally port. Do you know that Edgar Allan Poe did hang around in Fells Point, and for all we know, he may have frequented this particular bar because it is the oldest continuous bar in Baltimore. The part that we're in right now was called the Anchorage. It was a home for old sailors. It was sometimes called the Dog House because sailors were called salty dogs. And another little indication that maybe they didn't smell nice either. Even Baltimoreans call these things cobblestones. They are not cobblestones. Cobblestones are round. These are square. These are called Belgian blocks. And they were invented by the Belgians, who learned how to cut them into these brick shapes and make them easily stackable, because indeed these were stacked in the holds of ships. This we know as Broadway, but originally it was called Market Street. There's still a market up there. But this area right here was given to people of Baltimore by the Fell family, as long as it's used for commerce. And in fact, if you look at the granite here, you will see numbers. And these are the stall numbers where you would put your, whatever you were selling, your little table, your little tent up here on market day. Here we are at one of the oldest houses in Fells Point. It was built in 1765 by Robert Long. Robert Long, like everybody in Fells Point, had his a finger in the shipbuilding industry, but his main work was manufacturing bricks. We have these stars, which you'll see frequently on many, many buildings. There's a rod that goes through the floorboards of these stars. There's also these little S shapes, you'll see them too, and sometimes diamond shapes. But it pulls the brick in and keeps it from bulging out anymore. It says Fell family. Actually, not that long ago, it used to say Bond family. You got to wonder who was surviving at the time. We don't know exactly if everyone is buried here. People were buried on top of each other. I'm quite certain it wasn't covered with concrete back then, and it certainly didn't have that brick wall. But this is supposed to be pretty much where the Fell family wanted to be buried.
What you don't see here is that this is about an hour-long ghost tour, and there's a lot of information they give, but the stories are copyrighted, so we couldn't show them here.
Put your hand here and blow. And that's the end of the tour.
I started this episode off by asking if ghost tours were a good portal into history. They are. I mean, it's a great way of capturing people's attention and teaching them something that they wouldn't normally know. I learned more about Fells Point than I did through most of the things I've been down here.
Yeah, I mean, it's not very different. I liked it,
Thank you.
but I liked them all.
I like them all. I tried to get as much information that I could without breaking that copyright rule. I was really interested in what she was saying, and I think that with paranormal interest on the rise, it has been for quite some time, that this is a great way of getting history out to people without them realizing that they're getting history. And that was really my first introduction to how history can be interesting. Really interesting, not just cursory interesting.